Hey guys, welcome back for another reaction. Today I'll be reacting to weird German medical advice that just makes sense. I feel like this is a perfect video for me today because I just went to the hospital yesterday to have some laboratory because lately my diet is very unhealthy. Like I feel like I don't feel good, but I'm fine. I'm trying to be healthy again. I hope I can do this. But yeah, let's check this video.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, it is so great to have you. I'm Antoinette, a New Zealander living in the beautiful wine region of Lower Franconia, Germany. So in this video today, I am going to be talking about some weird German medical advice that just makes total sense. So when I say weird, I do not mean bad or wrong. This is just medical advice that I personally have received over the years I've been living in Germany that I myself as a New Zealander have found quite alarming, different, unusual medical advice that I had never received living in New Zealand. Some of this advice actually straight out contradicted medical advice I had received in New Zealand, and I just find it so fascinating how medical advice can vary depending on the country you live in.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's jump right into it. This is in no particular order. This piece of medical advice was given to me by my gynecologist here in Germany. This was not long after I had my first child, Amelia. She is almost 11, so this was quite a few years ago now. And I was breastfeeding Amelia, and I had a very sore, swollen breast, and I was pretty sure that I had mastitis. I just remember one of my breasts was so hard and swollen and red, and I was pretty sure I had this infection. I was also starting to feel a little bit shivery, and I was thinking, no, it's more than a blocked milk duct. I'm pretty sure this is mastitis. So I did go to the doctor. In New Zealand, if you go to the doctor with mastitis, you will more than likely be prescribed antibiotics to treat the infection. There are also a lot of old wives' tales. I was expecting to be prescribed antibiotics straight away, but the doctor actually had a look and said to me that it may be mastitis, but she's not 100% sure. It could be just a blocked milk duct, and she recommends me first trying quark on my infected area. I was so confused. I had never heard of using quark to treat mastitis before.
Dairy?
If you don't know what quark is, it is a German dairy product. It is very hard to describe. Even Germans have trouble describing what it is. It is a very thick, dense, creamy dairy product. So the best way to describe it would be a mix between Greek yogurt and cottage cheese, but it's not curdly like cottage cheese. It's very smooth. It's also meant to be really healthy, really good for your gut health. It's meant to have a lot of really good antibodies, but I'd never heard of applying quark topically
Me too,
to
never.
prevent or to treat mastitis. She explained that a blocked milk duct can cause very similar symptoms. It can make you feel a little bit shivery, but it doesn't necessarily mean you have an infection. She explained that if you apply the quark when it's really cold, it has an amazing cooling, soothing effect, and some of the antibodies in the quark help to release some of the toxins that may be building up in that area.
Did it work?
So my doctor gave me instructions on how to apply it and how long to leave it and how often I should apply it. I just remember feeling this cooling, soothing sensation, and it felt like it was helping, but I thought, this can't be right. Like, how can quark cure my mastitis?
Yeah.
And about an hour later, I did not have any pain anymore. My breast started to just sort of soften a bit. Because if you have a blocked milk duct, your breast is very hard, like rock hard, and it started to soften. And I was thinking, this is incredible. And my fever, I thought I had a fever. I don't know whether it was, but I started to feel like less shivery, and I just started to feel better. I continued doing this for a couple of days. I think it was about 3 times a day. This was so long ago, and I felt completely better. And my so-called mastitis was gone. Okay.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I've never heard that in my life. I didn't know that some dairy could heal some breast pain or something, or what you call that. That is really interesting. Okay, when I have a baby, I'll try this. That will be for a long time now, but yeah, that is really, really interesting. And yeah, in the US, the doctor would just give you antibiotics. But if this works, then that would be, I think, healthier than taking, you know, medicine. That is interesting. Wow. And it works. That's very cool.
So, the next piece of medical advice I also received not long after my daughter Amelia was born. I remember going for, I think it was her first full checkup after she was born, and we were talking about raising Amelia bilingually with the English and the German language, and she was
Mm.
asking me how we were going to do that. And at that point, I wasn't quite sure how exactly we were going to go about doing that. So, my husband is a native German speaker, and we from the start always wanted to raise our children bilingually. So at this stage, I hadn't been living in Germany for very long, so my German wasn't very fluent, and it just came naturally for me to speak English with Amelia all the time, and it came naturally for my husband to speak German with Amelia all the time. And I
Oh.
remember my pediatrician asking, how we are going to be doing the bilingual thing, and I explained to her that I just speak English with Amelia, and I was reluctantly telling her this because I was thinking she was going to say to me, "Oh, that's not very good. You live in Germany. You should be speaking German with her." And she said to me, "You are doing exactly the right thing. Do not try to
Oh.
speak German with her." And I was kind of surprised by this. Knowing what I do now, this is not surprising at all. She explained to me that a lot of foreign children here are not learning proper German because their parents may speak, a decent level of German, but not at a native level. So they are learning lots of little mistakes, and
Mm-hmm.
they are losing their parents' language. And so they would have had the opportunity to learn a second language, the mother tongue of their parents or parent, and they lose that opportunity because their mother or father thinks it is a better idea for them to integrate into German culture by learning German, but instead they're learning broken German and not having the opportunity to learn their parents' language, which is super unfortunate. And that just made total sense to me, like a light bulb went
It
off in my
does.
mind. And
Mm-hmm.
from that day, I was thinking, I am not going to speak German with my children. So even now, the only time I ever speak German with my children, I have 3 children, by the way, the only time I ever speak German with them is when they maybe have a friend to play or we're around their peer group who can't speak English. And out of respect to them, I will switch to German so everyone knows what's going on. And my kids don't really like it because they're so used to speaking English with me. That pediatrician gave me the best piece of advice. I initially thought it was really weird advice, but I'm so thankful that I was given this advice because right now my children are very fluent in English, and we have this really great relationship where we can
That's
speak to each
good.
other in like they have 2 mother tongues, English and German, and so I'm
Mm.
able to have heart to
Very
hearts with my
nice.
children in my mother tongue. And sometimes when I'm speaking German, I can't come up with, I don't have the vocabulary to express my emotions in the way I can in English. And so I love that I have that relationship with my children. That pediatrician basically said to me that giving your child the gift of a foreign language is one of the most beautiful gifts you can give them, and it opens up a
Mm-hmm.
whole world of opportunities. It doesn't matter what that language is, whether it's English, Polish, French, Russian, Arabic, it doesn't matter. It is just such a beautiful thing. Also, something I didn't know then that I know now is that children's brains are literally like little sponges when it comes to learning languages. They
Really?
take in everything so incredibly quickly. The subtleties of language learning that us adults could only dream of being able to learn in
Gosh.
such a short time span. It is incredible watching bilingual children grasp languages so quickly,
They're
which is why it
smart.
just makes total sense to speak with your child in your mother tongue so they can learn that language properly.
Oh. Yeah, I guess that makes sense because the German kids could speak German language at school with their friends and outside their house. And for the kids to learn English is from her talking to their kids directly every day. So yeah, it's really nice for people to be able to learn new language. And yeah, kids are smart, so it's easier for them to adapt new things better than the old people. There's a saying that always comes into my mind is like, you can't teach old dog new tricks. That just implies how innocent kids are.
So this next piece of advice was given to me by my family dentist here in Germany just last week, actually. I love my dentist. She is so cool, so friendly. We have the best chats, and she loves New Zealand. So at that checkup, I asked my dentist a question I had been curious about for a while, which was, is it bad for my children's teeth if they drink Apfelschorle? If you don't know what Apfelschorle is, it is a very popular drink here in Germany. So it is basically a mix between apple juice and sparkling water. And German children love Apfelschorle and drink it all the time. And it seems to be just something very normal and acceptable here. And my children also love Apfelschorle. They absolutely love it. I thought I knew the answer because in New Zealand, it is strongly discouraged to let your children drink any kind of juice or soft drink or just anything with high sugar content. And I was thinking, Apfelschorle has less sugar, but I'm sure it's not great for my children's teeth. And it's sort of like something I feel guilty about as a parent. I do let my children drink Apfelschorle more than I probably should. And I was surprised by her answer. She said to me, no, Apfelschorle is fine. It's the sodas and the full concentrated juices that you have to avoid. She told me that she's got 3 children and they all drink Apfelschorle every day and they have beautiful teeth. And she said the main thing you need to worry about is your child's dental hygiene, making sure they brush their teeth really well morning and evening, like twice a day. This was a relief for me to hear because my children love Apfelschorle, and I do encourage them to drink water for the most part, but I'm not going to freak out if they want Apfelschorle because I heard from a dentist that it's fine. She also said she doesn't agree with parents completely eliminating all junk food from their children's diet, and she said to me that with her children she always let them have candy and sometimes even soda, but in moderation, like once in a while. She said if you don't allow your children to have sweets and candy and soft drinks once in a while when they are young, then they are going to go crazy when they're older, and they are going to like binge on this type of food and these types of drinks. And I thought, yeah, this actually makes a lot of sense. She said of course she encourages a healthy diet and to drink water over other drinks, but always the main thing is dental hygiene, to teach your children how to brush their teeth properly, and before they're able to do that, to brush your child's teeth twice a day really thoroughly. Okay, guys.
That's our interesting advice too, but yeah, that just makes sense. It's the proper hygienes. This just makes me like the doctor there. They're very encouraging.
So last but not least, this piece of medical advice, I think I've talked about this before actually quite a long time ago, but it's very appropriate for this video. I'm going to talk about it again. I received this medical advice many years ago. Not long after arriving in Germany, actually, I came down with bronchitis. I was really unwell and I had a fever and I thought I was probably going to have to be on antibiotics. And so I went to a GP. I remember this doctor, looking in my ears and down my throat and checking my temperature, the usual procedure. And I was expecting to be prescribed antibiotics. Instead, I was prescribed herbal tea. Herbal tea. I thought this doctor was a quack. I had never in my life heard of a doctor prescribing herbal tea. Actually, this was not an official prescription. He just recommended that I go next door to the chemist and pick up some herbal tea, and he wrote down the specific brand and the type of herbal tea that I should be taking. And I was thinking, are you serious? Herbal tea, I have never in my life heard of a doctor in New Zealand telling me
I'll be surprised too.
I didn't even know that tea was something you should take when you're sick. So I did what the doctor said and I got that herbal tea. I don't know whether it did anything to dramatically help me, but I have to say I didn't end up needing antibiotics. I fought whatever I had on my own. My immune system was able to handle it without antibiotics, and I don't know whether it was the herbal tea that helped it. Who knows? Apparently this is really common in Germany. If you go to the doctor really unwell, you're feeling terrible and you think you need antibiotics, it is more likely that you will be given the recommendation to go buy some herbal tea than actually be prescribed antibiotics. Honestly, this is still something that confuses me a little bit. I do think it's great that German doctors are reluctant to prescribe antibiotics, but I don't know how much of a miracle worker herbal tea is. I'm not sure. So anyway, guys, I have come to the end of this video. I really hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah, I'll be surprised too when I go to the doctor because I don't feel good and they're just gonna tell me to take an herbal tea. That is really interesting. But yeah, if it works, then why not? Maybe I'll try this sometimes too. I'm gonna find herbal tea to take when I don't feel good. But yeah, those are really, really interesting, but just make sense. What shocks me the most is the theory for her boob, for her breast. But yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.